Hey St. Agnes!
Hey St. Agnes!
My name is Jillian Green and I'm this year's Voices of Black Youth President.
And I'm Music Young and I'm this year's Voices of Black Youth Vice President.
And
welcome to the 2021 Black History Month Assembly Virtual Edition.
Thank you all so much for joining us. We hope you're safe and doing well. This is our first time hosting an assembly through a screen, so we hope you enjoy it.
In past years, we've discussed the hardships of police brutality and Black oppression in and out of the Americas.
This year, we will be focusing solely on Black women. VOBY has decided to make its theme this year for the Black girls.
For the Black girls you see in the hallways when a Zoom call is not enough.
For the Black girls who don't have representation when being a hidden figure is not enough.
For the Black girls who are put down for their natural beauty when the beauty standards of the majority are not enough.
For the Black girls who want to be president one day, when being vice president is great, but will not always be enough.
For the Black girls who just want to feel comfortable in their own skin.
Black women are often portrayed in a light that does not always reflect their true essence, but that does not and should not make us feel any less beautiful.
We wanted to dedicate this assembly to everything from Black girl pain to Black girl essence.
Ultimately reminding our Black sisters that they're queens no matter what.
As we focus on celebrating Black girl magic in all of its glory, I encourage all of our St. Agnes sisters in the audience to stay curious.
Stay curious about the information we're giving you so you can go off and do your own research.
Stay curious about the girls you see in these videos and listen to their stories without bias.
Remember, you're an Academy woman. It is your job to be a lifelong learner.
Despite what you think you already know, there is still more to learn.
Sit up straight, make sure your feet are planted on the floor, take a deep breath. Our assembly's about to start.
So thank you all for tuning in as we present VOBY's first ever virtual Black History Month Assembly.
If you could use one or two words to describe your experience as a Black woman in society, what word would you use and why?
I would say resilient and successful.
Dynamic and proud.
Courageous and spiritual.
Fierceless, contagious.
Powerful, layered,
complex. Can I use a little phrase?
Yeah, sure.
I like to say always a surprising challenge. And that's because, of people's perceptions of who I am. I've had people tell me, all kinds of things like, I'm too nice, I'm not loud enough, why am I always mad? Or I'm too serious. And I'm like, wait a minute, those are on two ends of the spectrum. And I think it's coming from, an expectation of who they think I am or who they think I should be. And I'm probably somewhere in between, depending on the day, right? Just like everybody else.
Resilience, because despite the limitations that society have placed on Black women, I was able to break the barrier to become a dentist. Successful, because I was able to achieve the goal that I set for myself as a child, which is to become a dentist and own my own practice.
And I would say I'm fierceless in that I like challenges. And I think as a Black woman in society, there are a lot of challenges and things that we face because of our skin color and who we are. And I like to stare down challenges. And I like to do things that people say are impossible. I was showing my health class the other day the Nike commercial that Serena Williams put together, and it talks about dreaming crazy because a lot of people have termed her as crazy. And so I like to think that I'm crazy, and the definition not of which is delusional, but the fact that I dream crazier than what society thinks that I should do, or the way that society feels like they should pigeonhole me. And then I break down barriers and I overcome challenges because of it. I would say that I'm contagious because I enjoy taking other people that I surround myself with me. I do a good job of mentoring them and advocating for them and creating platforms for which they feel empowered. And so I feel like I'm contagious and that people want something of which God has gifted me with. And I'm always excited to do ministry for Him and share what He has given me to bless others and then light fires inside of other people.
Okay, next question is, what's something people wouldn't expect from you? Any hidden talents?
I think probably people know my talents already because I'm a performer and I teach theater. But maybe you wouldn't expect that I'm kind of a blurred. I'm a sci-fi enthusiast. That's like my dad and I in the summer. We go to the 10 o'clock movies because he's a senior and he can get in. And we go to the 10 a.m. sci-fi big blockbusters and read sci-fi books and, you know, Octavia Butler. Wait a minute. Did I say Butler?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Octavia Butler. Oh gosh, who else? Adrian Rich. Some great sci-fi writers are women, Black women.
Yeah.
Tananarive, my favorite, Tananarive, and she's a professor too.
Something that people do not expect from me as a Black woman is when I introduce myself and I'm asked, what do you do? And I say, I'm a physician. You can see sometimes surprise on people's faces and they dig further. Physician, in what area? And then when you tell them neonatology, then you get the second follow-up question, which is, what is that? So again, it is care of the newborn and the infant, and it typically is in an intensive care setting.
That I'm actually really, really, really sensitive. That might be shocking to hear from some people, but if you really, really get to know me, like some of my closest friends know that I'm really sensitive. I put on a tough front, like the coach in me, the athlete in me, you know, you want to carry yourself a certain way, but sometimes the smallest things rattle me, hurt my feelings, to be honest, and, you know, part of being a Black woman is keeping a straight face and not letting people get to you and show that it gets to you. But when I'm feeling my most vulnerable, or when after a long day and I'm home by myself and I replay things that have bothered me in the day, like, it's quite a few, believe it or not, but I always try to put on this front that, like, I'm good, everything is cool, you can say what you want to me, it's fine, but yeah, deep down I'm a big softie and I'm pretty sensitive.
As a Black woman, I'm often surprised at how people don't realize how diverse we are. We don't all love the same music, love the same clothes, love the same looks. We are very diverse. We are brought up in different ways, and we should be celebrated for our own diversity as Black women.
One thing that people wouldn't expect who might know me is I am really introverted, and I really, I shouldn't say this, but I love teenagers, and I really think adults can be overrated.
What's your favorite Black sitcom?
Living Single, hands down. If you've never seen it or heard of it, seriously, I think it's on Hulu right now. Definitely go watch it. It's just young. Well, they're seemingly young. They're like late 20s, early 30s, late 30s. A group of Black friends. It's like the Black Friends, for those of you that are familiar with Friends. Living Single was first, so there's that. And it's just a fantastic show that talks about different things. It's men and women all interacting, and it's funny, and it's timely, even though it was made in the late 80s, early 90s, but it's fantastic. Living Single, go watch it.
My favorite Black sitcom. There's so many. There's so many good writers, talented producers, theatrical comedians and dramatic performances. I think that's the one thing about being Black, is that there's so many different aspects to us of our culture and who we are. And so I can go back to the Cosby Show unapologetically, because that was a single television experience for my generation that encouraged a generation to go to school to be all they could be, and they made education seem cool.
I love theater and television, so I have a range. When I was a kid, when I was really little, it was Good Times, because that was like the first time I'd seen people who looked like me on TV. And then it was Cosby, but that's problematic now. But it wasn't problematic when I was a kid. That broke my heart, didn't it? And then as a younger woman, Living Single, and that's still one of my favorites, Living Single. And I like Blackish now. I watch Blackish.
My favorite Black sitcom was always A Different World. It showed Black students on a Black university with so much diversity, with humor, with music, with creativity, and I just really could relate to that show.
What's a memorable moment from your childhood?
A memorable moment from my childhood? This has nothing to do with race at all, but one time I was trying on shoes with my mom at the store called Stride Right. People might know what that is that are my generation. I think it's like out of business now, but the guy who was helping me put on my shoes, his breath smelled really, really bad, and I told him that in the store, like in that moment, and I was just like, sir, like, your breath really smells, you need a mint. And of course my mom was mortified, but the man was, he was like, oh, I'm so sorry, you are right. But yeah, that's a memorable moment that I will never forget, literally telling that man that his breath smelled really bad.
I have a lot of memorable moments as a kid growing up in Arizona. My sister and I were the only Black kids in our neighborhood, in our school, and we were treated very differently, not necessarily in a bad way, but we had a lot of experiences. One thing that I'm very proud of is that my sister and I were the first Black cheerleaders at our junior high, and it was something that I didn't realize was a big deal until later on.
Really, I would say graduating from high school and going to college. I'm a first generation college student. No one had gone to college before. And at my graduation, I had 42 people, and they cheered because I was hope for my family. And the same 42 came to my college graduation, and that was very memorable for me.
Let's see. So fun things were, I can remember this, and my godmother likes to tell this story. I like to garden. Maybe that's another one of those things you didn't know about me. And my godmother is my mother's sister. She's 86 now. When I was little, I used to be in her garden with her, probably not doing very much or helping very much. But I remember that, and she tells the story that I said, what are we doing? I'm talking little bitty baby. I said, what are we doing? And she said, we're building a relationship. And I just love that. That's my favorite memory. The gardening, the story, you know. I would say like maybe a memory that maybe wasn't so cool. Maybe being called the N-word, right? I was called the N-word when I was in 4th grade. And I knew what it was because I'm Black. I was by a white male student. And there are 2 reasons this story makes me unhappy, is because I got very upset, obviously, and angry, and I pushed him and knocked him down. So we both got in trouble, right? Because it looked like a fight. But he got in more trouble when they found out, you know, what it was. I was at a Catholic school, but predominantly white Catholic school like this one. But luckily in that instance, you know, the justice prevailed, I like to say. My mom asked me if I wanted her to come down to school and whip that little boy's behind. And I said no, because actually I had already done it, right? And one of my favorite teachers, though, you know, because I was upset that I got in trouble too. One of my favorite teachers, Miss Wooten, who's the principal of that school now, said to me that, you know, she wanted me, next time that happened, and it might happen again, to refrain from pushing him. or pushing someone or responding violently. And I did feel a little bit ashamed. I mean, I didn't know I was a kid, but I felt a little bit ashamed because I did feel like I needed to be stronger than that. And I learned that lesson that, to respond with violence is not going to help. But I still had questions about what I should do. And, I think like a lot of young people do, like a lot of adults do, what do you do when somebody tries to take your self-esteem away by reducing you to a nasty word that has a huge history that weighs upon you? It paralyzes you in that moment. But, it was sort of a twofold thing, right? Justice prevailed, but I also felt a little bit ashamed because I didn't respond in the way that I felt could help me not to be called that again, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that was a struggle as a child, and I think we still go through those struggles now.
What's your favorite Black hairstyle?
I love twists, as you can see.
Black hairstyle. I've learned to kind of grow with the times, and my assistant coaches keep me young, so I try to keep up with them with some braid styles. And today this time I've done some twists, which I've never done, threw some blonde in there. I like to change it up. I like to slay, keep it popping, all those good things with my hair. I don't have a favorite. I kind of go with, what my mood is or what time of the year it is. If it's summer, I try to do something a little bit shorter, and then every now and then I go crazy and do something long. So, of course, I like my natural hair, but it's a lot of work, so you don't see it much because I'm active and I have kids. So braids, twists, something like that, a weave, or like all my favorites.
My favorite hairstyle really would be the asymmetrical, short and long on one side.
The last question is, what advice would you give Black girls who are trying to find their way in the world?
Find your joy, learn everything you can about it, and don't let anybody tell you that you're wrong, that it's weird, that you shouldn't be doing that, that it's not right for you. Make yourself the expert in whatever it is that you enjoy, and many great things will come from that to you.
One piece of advice that I would give is that you should seek your own path. Don't be afraid of doing something just because it hadn't been done before. Don't be afraid of being an individual.
Never stop trying to figure out who you are. Who I was when I was your age at this school is not at all a total reflection of who I am now. I've grown so much and I'm continuing to grow, and just find people that accept you for who you are and are there for that growth with you. They don't leave you once, you decide to do something else. They're like, oh, what? You're gonna do that? Okay, bye. Find people that are gonna be there for you thick and thin, and keep growing. I mean, this world is infinite. Your limits, there are none. So do what makes you happy, and always have cheerleaders in your corner, not haters, not people that are gonna talk trash behind your back but smile in your face. Know that you have authentic people always rooting for you, and lean on them when you need them.
One thing I would advise you for sure is to stay true to who you are. Believe in yourself. Do not let anybody tell you what you can or cannot do. Because I know that in high school, there are a lot of students who have strength in different things. But sometimes we are being defined by what is on paper. But you are more than what is on paper.
You're magical. Like, you are amazing. Your spirit can't be broken. You can't be boxed in. Every gift that you have, every challenge that you go through, God has a plan and a purpose for you. And so whenever you are anywhere, just show up and be proud.
Be proud of who you are. Know that you were divinely made. Understand that we have a lot to give. And we are obligated to serve. We are obligated to be everything we can be. We do not need to shrink to make others feel better. We don't have to be aggressive in a sense to feel stronger when at times we don't feel that we are. You can exist peacefully despite the things going around you.
Be true to yourself. Know who you are, know your strengths, learn your weaknesses, and keep a laser focus on where you're going. And do not let the society or people define you or tell you who you can and who you cannot be.
Be you, but you got to figure out who you are. I think now teenagers are being swayed so much by other people that they don't even know who they are. I think you got to be you and be true to yourself, but you also have to figure out who you are. Because if not, no matter what journey you're going down, you'll be swayed and distracted by all the things that are going on in life. So you need to figure out, what are my talents? What are my gifts? What am I good at? And then find a platform in which you can advocate for those things and embody those things. I think now is a great time for young Black females to really have a voice in things that matter for you. But you got to figure out what embodies you and what makes you who you are, and be crazy about it, right? Not delusional in the sense of crazy when I was talking about earlier, but crazy in that people will think of you outside of the box because you just do some dynamic things in society that make you unique. And so if I were to give any advice, I would say be unique, be contagious, and stand firm. Because people are going to come in and try to criticize you, or they're going to say things that might get you in your feelings in some way, shape, form, or fashion. So you want to stand firm on the things, the morals that you believe in, the values in which you believe in, so that when those distractions come in, you know who you are, you know what you stand for, and then you're contagious because you take people with you.
Dear Black girl.
Dear Black girl.
Dear Black girl.
Dear Black girl. Girl, you've done it again.
You are constantly raising the bar for all of us and doing so flawlessly.
You do know you're that girl, right?
I hope that when you wake up in the morning and look in the mirror, you see how divine you are.
Know that so many people want what you got.
You have dreams to fulfill and promises to yourself that must keep.
I know at times you feel underappreciated and misvalued.
Trust me, we've all been there.
So it's necessary that you can count on yourself.
Now, don't go seeking perfection.
Extend yourself a little grace.
Don't be afraid to celebrate the little things as much as the big ones.
You, Miss Thang, are courageous.
You are dynamic.
You are principled.
And remember, respect is a minimum.
There's a sweet justice in knowing that the path that you're on was designed for you and you alone.
Doing right by yourself never goes out of style.
Everything about you is majestic and a force to be reckoned with.
Trust me, people are watching.
You're special and worthy of praise. Don't shy away from it.
And you don't have to get your groove back, because guess what? You never lost it.
It's also important to rest.
Make sure your hustle doesn't get in the way of your health.
The next time you want to second guess yourself, don't do it.
Girl, take care of yourself.
So pause for a second right now.
Now take a deep breath with me.
And relax, relate, and release.
You are needed.
You are appreciated.
Girl, you make me so proud.
And remember,
you are 100%
a strong,
phenomenal,
Black
Queen.
No, Mrs. Willett. I don't have better news. I'm sorry.
Okay. I will.
Hey, thought you had surgery.
I did. Saving a sex trafficker's life, so I needed some air.
How did you manage to not stab him in the skull with a scalpel?
Skin of my teeth. I easily could have let the catheter slip by a millimeter, lacerate his artery, or I could have accidentally let him have a bigger stroke, landing him in a vegetative state, sitting in his own filth for decades, but I didn't, because I took an oath. I saved his life so amazingly well that he will live far longer than he should, until he dies alone in prison.
I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick of it.
I know. It's infuriating. How anyone could kidnap children.
No, that's not it, Amelia. That's not it. You're outraged. Everyone is outraged that this monster kidnapped these girls, and that is awful. It's awful. But what about the monsters that got us here? The many reasons that Black girls are more vulnerable to being taken in the first place. I want outrage for that. I want outrage for the fact that we are seen as disposable and rarely seen as victims. That Black girls are less likely to be seen as innocent than white girls, which makes people think that we don't need protecting. And it's okay to hypersexualize us in the media. Meanwhile, we are being physically and sexually abused at horrific rates, and not just by sex traffickers. There are so many things just waiting to rob Black women and girls of our freedom and future and our joy. And because none of it has an evil or obvious face, it just gets ignored. And now, there's a plague that is killing Black people at a rate that should make everyone outraged. If COVID were killing white people at the rate that it is killing Black people, you better believe that everyone would be wearing masks because it would be the damn law.
You're right, Maggie. And I don't know how you carry it all.
By the skin of my teeth.
I've been walking with my face turned to the sun. Weight on my shoulders, a bullet in my gun. Oh, I got eyes in the back of my head, just in case I have to run. I do what I can when I can, while I can for my people. While the clouds roll back and the stars fill the night, that's when I'm gonna stand up, take my people with me. Together we are going to a brand new home, far across the river. Can you hear freedom calling, calling me to answer? Gonna keep on keeping on. I can feel it in my bones.
3rd Division responding to a 1030 police.
What is the location of your emergency? Got bullet holes through it. Came through the front wall from the next apartment where the shooting happened.
Building 303! Apartment number 4! Please come out! Put your hands up! Have you been hit by a bullet? Oh, scared. Keep walking backward! Walk straight back or I'll send this dog on you! Walk back to me! Keep on walking! Put your hands on your head! What did I do? What did I do? Let's get behind this car for cover. What did I do?
I was banging at the door and she said, "Who is it?" And then I just started shooting. What is this about? We're both just regular workers.
Keep walking. Stop. Keep walking.
Stop screaming.
Don't come off that car. If you come off that car again, I'm gonna put you on the ground. Please, just don't let him be dead. Please, God, don't let him be dead.
Look at Brianna.
Junior.
No, that was senior prom. Junior prom, she had the blue dress. That's junior prom. She looks so good. To know her is to love her. She's so much like me, but she's so much better than me.
Brianna and Tamika were really close. Brianna pushed everyone else in her family to be the best versions of themselves.
If you ain't got a Brianna or a Brianna,
she was the star of the show for the family, basically, and she just kept everybody going.
Just being around family gave her a lot of joy. She loved to be around family.
happy birthday to you. Happy
She was always the one who was like, let's have a family game night. Let's all get together.
She's very girly. She's such a diva.
Her mother said, she'd be like, Brianna, didn't you just get an outfit? And Brianna would say like, oh yeah, but that one's already been in pictures. Like, I can't wear that one again.
I'm strong, intelligent, beautiful black young woman who has grown so much. She loved to set these goals for herself, no matter what it was. You wouldn't be able to tell her nothing. When I walk across that stage and get my diploma handed to me, I won't be thinking this is the end, rather more like this is only the beginning. I will now be starting my journey to the adult life.
Black Lives Matter. How many more hearts need to shatter before we turn the page and start a new chapter? Slavery was abolished. They printed that in the news. But the headlines I'm reading show that that is far from the truth, because people are still captive to their skin color, of which none of us can choose. How much more blood needs to be spilled? Will Smith said racism is not getting worse, it's just getting filmed. That's because this is not the first time that a black person has been killed. It's happened over and over and over again. They say repetition is like the definition of insanity. So what is that saying? This world is broken, and it needs to change. This has been happening since the beginning of the age, since Abel and Cain. They even killed Jesus when he came. If I could take off my skin and leave it at the door, and you couldn't see color anymore, would hearts be worth fighting for? I understand the thought that may cross some minds, the thought of, I don't need this in my life. But if you live in this age and time, then you cannot not fight. It shouldn't be a privilege to have skin that is white. And I recognize that if any one of us stays silent, then we all lose this fight. Because ignoring it is as bad as condoning, looking away the same. Because at the end of the day, when God calls your name, what will you say? God, I chose to look away? Because that probably won't cut it on Judgment Day. And choosing not to take part is a choice, but it will result in more broken hearts if we don't learn how to use our voice. So I'm calling on every color to make some noise in the direction of racism. Now is not the time to be afraid or complacent. Now is the time to stand on the same side as this statement. Black Lives Matter. Raise your hands to God, wave them like a banner, and surrender to Him. Because we cannot win this fight separate from Him. The one that was killed, 3 nails and a hammer. He is more relatable than you might imagine. Our God is a God of color. Born in the Middle East, He was not white as many may believe. Jesus, Son of God, they called Him the Prince of Peace. Something we know little about, but desperately need. This cannot become another forgotten headline. This is the point where we all need to rise and draw the line. So what does change look like in your mind? I believe the answers are in the Word of God, and they have been there this whole time. I may be wrong, but I don't think that it is a lack of answers or not knowing what to do, but a lack of action and application of the truth. Jesus said this, "A new commandment I give to you, love one another as I have loved you." If you are a believer, then this is the truth, and it is this truth that we need to choose. The Bible says God made from one man every nation. There is neither Greek nor Jew, slave nor free, male nor female. So what do you see? I believe God is painting a picture of unity. We need not look at ourselves to find the answers, but we must be compelled to take our chances on the God of love, peace, a sound mind. To some, this may not sound fine, but if you don't believe in Jesus, then tell me this: do you believe in love? Because they are one and the same. And for this reason Jesus came, to heal our brokenness and set captives free. We need only reminisce on our history to see that racism never ends happily. We all know of a great man that once spoke of a dream. Let this generation be the one where that dream is finally seen.
Hey, did you hear about the crazy riots in Minneapolis yesterday?
Yeah, I did. Pretty careful what's going on.
Yeah, oh my gosh, I have been scrolling through Twitter non-stop. Like, it's crazy to see how a police officer could actually harm someone racially. Like, I never thought that could happen in 2021.
Well, I mean, our country's history is pretty bad.
I know, like, you don't even have to tell me. America is so trash. I even posted like 4 infographics about it in my name. Like scroll through the party stuff, but like, it's there.
Yeah, I see. That's nice and all, but...
Like, I usually try not to get too political and all, but like, as an ally, I just had to speak up. Like, I have black friends and everything, and I feel like I just had to do my part.
Hey, I get that you're trying to raise awareness and everything, but...
Exactly! I'm so glad you see how much effort I'm putting in. Like, I'm totally invited to the cookout, right, sis?
It doesn't really work like that.
Oh, wait, one sec. I have not posted on my main in a minute. Look, I took these really cute pictures at the BLT protest yesterday, and like, I don't know if I should put like 3 in a row, or like highlight 2 of them, but I think I should just put it into my planner thingy. That way I can just like see how my Instagram looks.
Just stop. First off, it's BLM as in Black Lives Matter. Second off, you're not even a real ally. You're just a performative ally.
What?
A performative ally? You know, a fake ally. Everything you do is for show, just to make yourself look woke.
What? No, I'm totally down for the cause, sister.
See this? This is weird. I can appreciate your willingness to support important causes to the Black community, but activism can't start and end with a hashtag. To be a part of the cause, our cause, you have to be willing to make sacrifices to address systemic issues, holding your friends and family accountable for racist jokes, comments, and bullies. That's how you can truly make an impact and be a real ally. There's nothing wrong with posting a picture or retweeting a tweet to spread awareness, but you have to ask yourself, am I doing this to look like a good person or to be a good person? There's a difference.
So, I never thought about it that way, but like, so what can I do? So I'm not a
performative ally?
Yeah.
There's tons of things you can do and plenty of resources available, as well as activists that are constantly spreading information on resources and organizations that you can donate to. You can use your platform to spread their word. You can also support Black-owned businesses and donate to organizations that are doing the work to eradicate racism in institutions from education to healthcare to politics. Put it simply, ask yourself, does my allyship do more for myself than for the group of people it claims to help?
Does my allyship do more for myself than for the people it claims to help?
All lives do matter, but not all lives are struggling with the fight for basic human rights. So please, to be an ally to the Black community, remember to stand with your Black sisters, not in front of them.
Black women, I admire you. Your beauty shines beyond your own knowledge. From the way you style your hair to the way you dress, you have been integral to the make of modern society. Despite being constantly ridiculed and belittled, you've come through once again. This last election was an important one, and you've made your place in our nation's history. 90% of you voted for President Joe Biden, making you the most loyal Democratic voters. For the last 5 elections, you've been there for a country that has not been there for you. Stacey Abrams, your success in flipping Georgia has been recognized. You will go down in history as a leader, peace seeker, and role model. Every little Black girl will want to be like you growing up. Articles, essays, and movies will be inspired after you. Kamala Harris, the first woman in national executive power, a Black and South Asian American woman at that. You have set the precedence for a new age in upcoming history, one where all women know that they can achieve your success. Do good, Vice President Harris. We are counting on you. Black women, you've held everyone down in times where you should let go. Remain strong where any other would be weak. But in 2020, your power was in your voice. Your voice in numbers has been proven unstoppable. Do good, Black women. Stay true, Black women. Soar high, Black women. And thank you, Black women.
Yes?
Hi.
Hey, Music, come on in. So, how are we feeling?
I'm doing good. That's a lie. I'm not doing good. I've been really stressed recently, and my anxiety is getting worse. Also, my mom has been putting a lot of pressure on me to take care of my siblings and to keep my grades up. And now she wants me to get a job too. It's a lot, and I think she's trying to make me grow up too fast. At this point, it's just too much for me.
I mean, have you thought about telling her that it's getting too much and it's affecting your mental health?
I've thought about it, but she always has so much on her plate, and she acts so strong and as if nothing's wrong. So, also, we never really talk about mental health and feelings.
Mm-hmm.
One time I tried to tell her I thought I may have anxiety. She did not believe me. She actually said I was being dramatic and that I was doing too much.
Yeah, I get that a lot from young Black girls your age. Mothers can expect a lot from their daughters, mainly because their moms did the same thing to them. And the Black community puts a lot of added pressure on females to just grow up too fast and take on added responsibilities. And oftentimes, older generations, like your parents and your grandparents, didn't grow up in emotionally stable households. So they're forced to suppress their emotions so much that it becomes an instinct, and they never learn how to cope or to deal with it. But you need to know that feelings of depression and anxiety don't make you weak. In fact, talking about it will make you stronger.
I know, and I mean, I've tried to talk about it to like other people and relate, but no one ever takes me seriously. They either just put it off or completely ignore me as if I'm making them uncomfortable.
Lots of African Americans feel as though they need to put up a strong front in order to survive in a world full of racism and prejudices. We feel as though we need to put up a defense and can't show any signs of weaknesses ever. And on top of that, the lack of resources and access to healthcare facilities isn't helping whatsoever. At the slight chance someone wants to seek help or get support, it can be very difficult for them to do so.
I know. I don't even understand how so many Black girls go through situations like mine and more without the opportunities I have. Like, I get to sit here and talk to you, and I'm so lucky I can confide in you, by the way. But so many Black girls are forced to bottle everything up and completely detach. It's unfair.
No, I completely agree. It is so unfair and it is completely unjust. But please do not let society lie and tell you that you have to be strong all the time. You don't. You're allowed to cry, to break down, to express yourself and ask for help. It doesn't make you weak or inferior. It makes you human. It's the bare minimum and you deserve it and so much more. So, tell me, have you been practicing the coping mechanisms I showed you last week?
Yes, I have. I try to meditate for about 5 minutes every morning so I can start my day off with some peace. Also, I've been keeping a journal where I write about my day and also any feelings I have. And when I get overwhelmed, I've taken some time to calm down and to ground myself. So yeah.
Wow, that's great music. And you know, the more you do those and implement it into your daily routine, you're going to be managing your stress and anxiety like a pro. Trust me. And you need to remember that you're eating enough and getting enough sleep throughout the day. Or if you don't, it's only going to worsen your mental condition. Yeah? You need to remember that your health should always be your top priority.
Yes. Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you for a session. Thank you so much.
Yes, I'll see you next week, yeah?
Yes, you will. Thank
Okay.
you.
I received a letter from a girl, and I'd like to share just a small part of it with you. Dear Lupita, it reads, I think you're really lucky to be this black, but yet this successful in Hollywood overnight. I was just about to buy Densher's Whitenicious cream to lighten my skin when you appeared on the world map and saved me. My heart bled a little when I read those words. I could never have guessed that my first job out of school would be so powerful in and of itself, and that it would propel me to be such an image of hope in the same way that the women of The Color Purple were to me. I remember a time when I too felt unbeautiful. I put on the TV and only saw pale skin. I got teased and taunted about my night-shaded skin. And my one prayer to God, the miracle worker, was that I would wake up lighter-skinned. The morning would come and I would be so excited about seeing my new skin that I would refuse to look down at myself until I was in front of a mirror because I wanted to see my fair face first. And every day I experienced the same disappointment of being just as dark as I had been the day before. I tried to negotiate with God. I told him I would stop stealing sugar cubes at night if he gave me what I wanted. I would listen to my mother's every word, sitting right there, and never lose my school sweater again if he just made me a little lighter. But I guess God was unimpressed with my bargaining chips because he never listened. And when I was a teenager, my self-hate grew worse. As you can imagine, happens with adolescence. My mother reminded me often that she thought I was beautiful. But that was no consolation. She's my mother. Of course she's supposed to think I'm beautiful. And then Alec Weck came on the international scene. A celebrated model. She was dark as night. She was on all the runways and in every magazine, and everyone was talking about how beautiful she was. Even Oprah called her beautiful. And that made it a fact. I couldn't believe that people were embracing a woman who looked so much like me as beautiful. My complexion had always been an obstacle to overcome, and all of a sudden, Oprah was telling me it wasn't. It was perplexing, and I wanted to reject it because I had begun to enjoy the seduction of inadequacy. But a flower couldn't help but bloom inside me. When I saw Alec, I inadvertently saw a reflection of myself that I could not deny. Now, I had a spring in my step because I felt more seen, more appreciated by the faraway gatekeepers of beauty. But around me, the preference for light skin prevailed. To the beholders that I thought mattered, I was still unbeautiful. And my mother again would say to me, "You can't eat beauty. It doesn't feed you." And these words played and bothered me. I didn't really understand them until finally I realized that beauty was not a thing that I could acquire or consume. It was something that I just had to be. And what my mother meant when she said, "You can't eat beauty," was that you can't rely on how you look to sustain you. What actually sustains us, what is fundamentally beautiful, is compassion for yourself and for those around you. That kind of beauty, excuse me, that kind of beauty inflames the heart and enchants the soul. It is what got Patsy in so much trouble with her master, but it is also what has kept her story alive to this day. We remember the beauty of her spirit, even after the beauty of her body has faded away. And so, I hope that my presence on your screens and in magazines may lead you, young girl, on a similar journey, that you will feel the validation of your external beauty, but also get to the deeper business of being beautiful inside. That, there is no shade in that beauty. Thank you.
Growing up as a kid, I hated my dark skin.
And if I could be transparent, even now, as a teenager, I have to constantly reprogram my thinking.
Years of being told that I was not the standard of beauty, but you see, that was a lie.
Which is why I chose to rewrite my own narrative.
Dear
Black girl.
We are warriors whose spirits cannot be crushed.
We speak up when we're told too much.
We forgive when our black men dismiss, degrade, and can't see that we are not the ugly duckling, but
the swan princess,
the Nubian goddess,
the reflection of our ancestors,
the made in his image when society tries to pin light versus dark skin.
We remind them that every shade of chocolate is divinely crafted.
Black Girl Magic is more than a hashtag.
It is a movement,
a statement.
Like Maxine Waters, reclaiming our powers.
Moving through this world unapologetically. Degree holding with our heads held high.
Melanin moisturized.
Big hips, thick thighs.
Hair free and natural.
Or wrapped in a protective style.
Dear Black girl,
you better recognize
we are the trailblazers.
Everybody wants to be us.
To all my sisters, as we continue the process of loving our skin,
start with this.
This is me,
the chocolate beauty deserving and saying,
I am a queen. Dear black girl, know that you are everything.
Says she really grew up poor like me. Don't believe in nothing but the Almighty. Just a little jeans and a pure whitey. She never dream forever be nobody wifey. Yeah. She wanna mean a pretty but your heart is a miss. Play you like a villain cause she caught in a way. Tonight I am walking away. 9 to 5 mind and a grind, yeah. Tonight I might fall in love, depending on how you hold me. I'm glad that I'm calming down. Can't let no one come control me. Keep dancing and call it love. She fights it by falling slowly. If ever you are in doubt, remember what mama told me. Brown skin girl, your skin just like pearls. You're back against the world. I never trade you for anybody else. A brown skin girl, your skin just like pearls. The best thing in all the world. I never trade you for anybody else.
Pose like a trophy when Naomi's walking. She need an Oscar for that pretty dark skin. Pretty like Lupita when the camera's closing. Drip broke the levee when my Kelly's rolling. I think tonight she might braid her braids. Melanin too dark to throw her shade. She minds her business and winds her waist. Go like 24K. Okay.
Tonight I might fall in love, depending on how you hold me. I'm glad that I'm calming down. Can't let no one come control me. Keep dancing and call it love. She fighting but falling slowly. If ever you are in doubt, remember what mama told me. Brown skin girl, your skin just like pearl.